So over the past few months or so, maybe up to a year, I have started journaling. And the reason that I started to do this isn't just because it's a hype thing at the moment. It's more because I realised that I was thinking a lot. There was a lot going up in my mind that I wasn't communicating with other people. And the problem is with this is that if you have a lot of mental chatter going on and you don't express that in some way, it may come out in ways that you don't want it to, and that maybe are a detriment to people around you or yourself. Maybe there's a lot of things going on upstairs that causes you to feel certain feelings like anger or envy or jealousy and things like that. And if you don't express that by writing it down and letting it go out of your mind and to somewhere else, then it might come out in actions on a day-to-day basis, maybe when you're at work or when you're with colleagues, friends, family members, and you just don't want that. So for me, it's been a way for me to express how I'm feeling, but also it's allowed me to write down certain experiences and feelings that I've had over the past however many months I've been doing this. And that's why I've created this video for you today, because hopefully maybe you'll resonate with this, maybe you'll learn something from it, and maybe this is just not for you at all and you won't learn anything. But stay with me, because I think there are some nuggets of wisdom in here for people like me, for people that are on this self-improvement journey, that kind of go through things in life that maybe not everybody does, or maybe everybody does. But anyway, let's start with the first one. What I've written here: he who has nowhere to go has no choice but to find himself. He who has nowhere to go has no choice but to find himself. What do I mean by this? I've certainly realised, especially over the last few years when I've been travelling and living in other countries and working in other countries, where I've travelled alone. Australia, I've lived there for a couple of years and worked there, travelled alone. I'm now in Southeast Asia, working for myself, travelling alone. And I've realised that when you put yourself in certain situations, environments where you don't have anyone to fall back on, no family members, no friends, no work colleagues, you don't have a place to live. I put it, for me especially, when I moved to Sydney, I just booked a one-way ticket out there. I didn't have a clue how I was going to find a job, how I was going to network with other people. I had no idea how I was going to find an apartment to live in a different country. And I remember getting to the airport, Sydney airport, and thinking, wow, this is life, isn't it? I don't really know how this is going to work. But when you are in this situation, when you really have nowhere to go, no one to fall back on, you've got no choice but to find yourself. You've got no choice but to make it work, because ultimately you want to survive as a human. That's what you want to carry on doing. So you have to make it work. And for you to do that, you have to find out who you really are. Can you communicate to people maybe in a different language if you go to another country that's not Australia, that doesn't speak your native language? Can you do that? Can you do what you need to do to survive, to make it work, to make you be able to live your life in that country, or whatever it is? It doesn't have to be moving abroad, but when you have no one to fall back on, or nothing to fall back on, you have no choice but to find yourself, to make it work, to become the person you need to be to make it work. So that's the first one. He who has nowhere to go has no choice but to find himself. Number 2, you're born alone, you'll go out alone, but we are nothing without community. You're born alone, you'll go out alone, but we are nothing without community. And this doesn't really need much of an explanation, because we know that we come into this world alone. yes, you have a mother and father at the time, or at least definitely a mother, and we know that we die alone. But we are simply nothing without community, and I've realised this over the past 3 months, because in my time in Southeast Asia, I've been spending about a week to 10 days in each different place, each different country, each different city in each country. And I've realised that doesn't really give me much time to build a community, because once I kind of start to settle down, I'm then going to the next place. And I've realised that I've spent a lot of time here alone. But the good thing for me is that I like my own company. I get things done. I get important work things and other bits and bobs done that need the solitude. They need me to be able to just focus and put some deep work in. So for me, I like my alone time, but I also just I'm so passionate about being in a community of like-minded people. And this can come from your work, your colleagues, your family, your relationships with friends and love partners. It can come from a sports team that you follow, or maybe you love playing a certain sport and you're part of a club that you play and you just love the people there and you get on so well and they're your like friends for life. I can't explain enough, I can't put enough importance on it, the fact that yes, we come in and we go out alone, but we are simply nothing without community. You have to have people around you that are like-minded, that you believe in the same thing, and you work together, or you gravitate towards each other and you celebrate certain things. It's just so important. And what I want to say here as well is that just because they're your family members or your colleagues at work doesn't mean that you have to love and get on with all of them. But maybe outside of those areas, is there something that you gravitate towards? Maybe you love reading. Is there a book club or a sports team that you follow, that you can meet up with these people, even if it's just once a week or once a month even, where you meet and you have a good time together and you celebrate and you enjoy each other's company and you work on things together? That is literally, that's what therapy is to me. When I meet up with people, whether it's in the gym and we are entrepreneurial minded and health and fitness minded, I can just have such great conversations with those people, and it feels like therapy to me. It makes me feel good. So that's what I mean by that is, yes, we come in alone and we go out alone, but we're really nothing without community in this thing that we call life. So that's number 2. You're born alone, you'll go out alone, but we are nothing without community. Number 3, distractions are everywhere. You won't find what you're looking for in any of them. Learn to get quiet. In this chaotic and modern world that we live in now, you are being bombarded with distractions. TikTok, social media, doom scrolling, unhealthy takeaways that are advertising, billboards everywhere, porn, sex with more beautiful people, alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, bars, clubs, casinos. Everything outside is trying to get you distracted from your life purpose, to spend money, to get addicted to things, to make sure that you're not actually working on what you need to be working on, but you're giving your time, giving away your energy, your money to these things that don't mean anything. And what I mean by this too is that if you're searching for, if you want fulfillment, peace, happiness, true happiness, what I mean is you're not going to find that at the end of a bottle. You're not going to find it in a pack of cigarettes. You're not going to find it in winning a bet at the casino. It's all a distraction. And what I don't want you to take from this is that, oh, he just wants you to stay in your room and not go outside. I don't mean it like that. Let's put 2 of them together. The last one, about the community. If you have a great community of like-minded people around you, and every now and then you like to celebrate together by heightening the mood a little bit and having a few drinks of alcohol together, where you meet and just have a great time and speak, and you just ultimately have a great time together when you do certain things like that, that's amazing. That's the perfect time to have a little bit of distraction in your life. It's good distraction. But if you're looking for these feelings, the purpose, the fulfillment, the peace, the true happiness, etc., if you're trying to find that at the end of the bottle, in the drugs, in the bad foods, in the gambling, if I just win one more bet, I'll be happy. It could even be your business. I'm miserable now, but if my business makes this amount of money, then I'll be happy. I'll be happy when I get the sports car. These are all illusions. These distractions, they don't bring you what you're looking for. So learn to get quiet. Maybe it's actually already inside of you what you're looking for, but you just haven't been able to get that out because you're constantly looking for it in the next hype thing. Constantly on this train, this hedonic treadmill of possessions and more. That's what I've learned over the last few years especially, that these distractions are everywhere and you won't find what you're looking for in any of them. Learn to get quiet. Learn to quieten the mental chatter that's in your head. Learn to meditate. And that doesn't mean you have to be in a silent room and think nothing. It's allowing thoughts to come in your head while you're doing this meditative session, but not identifying with them, just being the observer of the things that are coming in your head and then just letting them go out again. Because we're not our thoughts. You can think weird things can pop into your head, but if you just observe that and don't attach to it, don't identify with it, that's where true power comes from. And that's what I wanted to share with you, is because, I'll read it again, distractions are everywhere. You won't find what you're looking for in any of them. Learn to get quiet. I myself was a victim of this. I'll hold my hands up. I think that I was, a lot of the time in my mid-20s especially, and early 20s, were trying to find the feelings, this high of happiness in alcohol. I would work on a bit of my life and feel really good about things, and then I wanted to feel even happier, so I would drink, and ultimately that would take me off of the path that I was on, where I was actually working on myself and doing good things. And because I wanted to feel even better, I would go on this other path that would then lead to drinking alcohol more and more to keep feeling that feeling, and then ultimately we know where that leads. It's self-destruction. So that's what I meant by number 3. Distractions are everywhere. You won't find what you're looking for in any of them. Learn to get quiet. Number 4, it doesn't matter where you go. If you don't look inwards, no destination will make you truly happy. And you can relate this to a few things. For me, this came into my head, and so I wrote it down because I had realised that a few years ago I wasn't very happy with my life in the UK. And so I escaped. I moved to Australia. I thought, the weather's better over there, you earn better money over there. Maybe if I just move there, I'll be happy. Things will work out. Wrong. If you still do the same things, but just move yourself to a different country, if you're still drinking alcohol too much, if you're still working a job that you hate, but just in a new country that has better weather and pays you a bit more, you're not going to be a happy person. That's not going to make you happy, truly happy anyway. It might help for a little bit, and you might think, oh, this is pretty good. And then eventually it kind of wears off and you realize that something's not right here. You have to look inwards. These things, these outside things, material possessions, whatever it is, destination. From destination, I don't even necessarily mean changing your environment like a country. I mean, if you say that I'm miserable right now, my business is failing, I'm not going to be happy until I get to this other destination where my business is successful. It's not going to make you truly happy. Life is a process. Life is a journey. We have to enjoy the little, each bitty moments of the journey. It's not about a destination. And that's what I mean by that. It doesn't matter where you go. No ultimate destination of anywhere in life is going to make you happy if you can't enjoy parts of the process now. And that doesn't mean that you have to enjoy every single bit of the process, because that's just impossible. No one is truly happy 100% of the time. But if you think that something outside of you is going to make you truly happy, yes, it might help for a bit, for a little while, but ultimately these things are not going to make you truly happy. These destinations that you think are going to make you happy, they won't. And so that is what I meant by number 4. And as I said, I can resonate to that, and that's why it came into my head and why I wrote it down, because I thought, if I just move country, if I just do this, if I just have that job, if I just earn that amount of money, if I just blah, 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 then I'll be happy. And I realized when I got to these certain stages that I still felt the same. So I had to go a different way. I had to start thinking, why is this not working? And then when you look inwards and you change your actions, you change your habits, you change things, you'll realize that, wow, I could have gone anywhere in the world and I wouldn't have been happy. But now I feel like I can be happy in moments each day wherever I am. Doesn't matter if it's freezing cold, raining, in a terrible location. I can do things that make me feel good. But if you don't have to do that, if you can look inwards and you can be in a great location around great people as well at the same time, you double whammy, you win in both ways. So that's what I meant by number 4. It doesn't matter where you go, if you don't look inwards, no destination will make you truly happy. Number 5, pain and suffering aren't only necessary, they are inevitable. Learn to use them to your advantage. Pain and suffering aren't only necessary, they are inevitable. Learn to use them to your advantage. Now, what do I mean by this? Pain and suffering are necessary for you to grow as a person, to get stronger, to gain wisdom, to gain knowledge, to improve your body in the gym. You have to go through painful things in life. And not only are they necessary, they're inevitable. Everybody is going to have loved ones that die around them in their lifetime. Everyone is going to go through a painful breakup, or a job loss, or your business fails, or you lose everything and you have to start from scratch. Whatever it is, you can't avoid pain and suffering throughout life. But what I don't want you to do is have the victim mentality where you're like, why is this happening to me? Why is life giving me these cards to deal with? No one else has to go through this. Why is it always me? Why does this happen to me and nobody else? Etc, etc, etc. That is victim mentality. That is not going to serve you any good. But if you can go through really hard things, if you can really go through painful circumstances throughout your life and think in a different way, change the perspective and be like, this is really, really difficult, but what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? How can I go through this experience as best as possible and try to stop it from happening again in the future? What is this trying to teach me? If you can flip the perspective from the victim mentality and change it to that, you're going to be unstoppable. You're going to be who you're actually meant to be. You're going to become the person that you were meant to become when you set foot on this planet. You're going to be unstoppable. If you can go through really hard circumstances, pain and suffering, it's inevitable throughout your life. But if you can grow through them, learn from them, and then help others, especially that are going through these things as well, that you've learned from and you grew from and gained the knowledge, the wisdom, that's true power right there. That's true power. So that's what I mean by that. It's pain and suffering aren't only necessary, they are inevitable. Learn to use them to your advantage. And the final one that I've got written down for this video especially is this. You think you want comfort, you don't. You think you want things to come easy, you don't. What you want is self-respect. And that comes from doing hard things. Do hard things. Now, this one actually came into my head today. And I had realised that during my adolescence, early years, school years, teenagers, university, coming up to university, I always wanted to be wealthy and successful and have a muscly body, etc. and all these things. But what I realised is that I wasn't willing to put in the hard yards. I wasn't willing to put in the work to get these results. And if you're not willing to do that, then how can you get them? You can't. And when I say you think you want comfort, you think you want things to come easy, but you don't, is you may think right now that, this job, this business is just too difficult. I wish I was on a beach somewhere just sipping pina coladas until the sunset, till the cows come home. You think you want these things. I can promise you, you don't. Nobody has ever found who they truly are when they're just lying on a beach. But when you get up early and you go on the run and then you go and hit the workout and you do the work on your business that day that you didn't think you were going to be able to do, this is how you gain confidence. This is how you gain self-respect. This is how you look in the mirror and you say, I like that person. I respect that person. They keep their promises. They say what they're going to do and then they do it. And I learned this especially last year in a few things I did. I did my first ever long distance running event, which was a half marathon on not really too much training. I didn't really know too much about it, but I wanted to set myself a goal that I didn't know if I could achieve in this time frame that I gave myself to do it. And I did it, and I did my first ever long distance event in a good time for me, half marathon in 1 hour and 41 minutes. And this year I want to do a marathon, and I will. And then a month after that, I signed up to a boxing fight. A person that's never thrown a punch before. But I needed to prove to myself that I can do hard things. I know that there are going to be hard things that come up in the future, and I'm going to need to look back on proof that I can finish things, that I can sign up to things that I don't know if I can do, and I can put in the work and I can do them. Because this stack of evidence, this stack of proof that you can take throughout your life, and when you inevitably come to harder situations in the future, you can look back and think, oh no, I know who I am. I can do hard things. I respect that person in the mirror. I know that I can do this. That is just, I can't actually even put it into words how important that is. You need to do hard things. It's the only way that you're going to gain that self-respect, gain that confidence. When you tell yourself you're going to do something, you do it. And I'm not here to say as well that these things feel good in the moment. When I finished my long distance event, I felt physically terrible. My legs killed, my feet really hurt, aching, body aching, no energy. I felt sick. In the boxing training for the 8 weeks, I didn't really enjoy it, but I felt good after each session. I didn't like getting hit in the face in the sparring sessions, but I needed to learn how that felt. I needed to know how life hits, and that's how. And I didn't like the feelings before the fight. Nerves, things coming into your mind that you wouldn't normally think. Imagine that. Your first ever fight in front of 1,500 people, your friends and family there to support you. What things coming in your mind? What if I get knocked out in front of my family and friends? This could be the end of me. But I won that fight, and afterwards it was like true elation. But in the moment, these things are difficult. These things are hard to do. But if you can put yourself in situations, if you can do hard things that you don't necessarily think you're going to be able to achieve when you set out to do them, and then you do them, that proof, that evidence is just going to be paramount. to your future successes in life, your other hardships that you're inevitably going to go through and that you need to overcome, those hurdles, those obstacles. You can look back and think, I know I can do this. I can do hard things. So just do hard things. So that's the last one. You think you want comfort, you don't. You think you want things to come easy, you don't. What you want is self-respect, and that comes from doing hard things. Do hard things. We're going to leave that video there. Let me know if you took anything from this, if you resonated with anything. And here's a little secret word that I want you to put in the comments below, because this is going to tell me that you've watched it up until this far. And I really appreciate if you have, because that's quite a long video. Journal. Just put in the comments, journal. It's all I want you to write. And that will let me know that you've watched the whole thing. So I appreciate you watching, and as always, I will catch you in the next video.